On a rocky point at the edge of the cold northern sea, there was a lighthouse. It was old and white, with thick stone walls and a light at the top that turned and turned through every night, sweeping the dark water with its long yellow beam. The lighthouse keeper was an old man named Ericsson. He lit the lamp each evening at sunset and wound the mechanism that turned it, and then he slept, because he was very old and needed his rest. But someone always stayed awake to keep watch. That someone was Sable. She was a black cat with one white ear, and she had lived in the lighthouse since she was a kitten. She knew its every sound, the creak of the lantern room in the wind, the moan of the foghorn on damp nights, the specific rhythm of the waves against the point in a rising swell.
Wind from the northeast tonight. The sea is building.
She sat on the windowsill of the watchroom, which was just below the lantern, and looked out at the dark water. The beam swept past her every few seconds, lighting the crests of the waves in a long travelling stripe of gold. It was mid-autumn. The storms came quickly at this time of year, out of the north, with little warning.
There is a boat out there, running south. She is moving fast, but not fast enough.
The lighthouse beam swept the water and for a moment caught the shape of a small fishing boat, single-mast, labouring in the growing chop. It was still a long way from port. The wind had been picking up for the last hour. Sable had felt it in the way the windows vibrated, a low, restless hum, rising in pitch. She had seen this before. The sea was going to get much worse before morning.
He cannot make it to port in this. Not if it keeps building.
She went upstairs and nosed at old Ericsson's door. He stirred and muttered but did not wake. He had been ill for 3 days and was sleeping more deeply than usual.
Then I must do it myself.
Sable thought carefully. She could not speak in any language a human could understand, except through action. She knew the emergency signal, a second light, set in the lower window facing the bay, which the coastal watch would see. But the signal lamp was on a high shelf in the equipment room. She had watched Ericsson light it before, when there was a drill. It had a striker on the side, a small wheel that needed to be turned against a flint. She had seen him use it many times. She had never tried it herself.
All right.
She jumped to the workbench, then from the workbench to the high shelf. The signal lamp was there, small, heavy, with the striker wheel on its right side. She pressed it against the wall of the shelf to hold it steady, and then began to work the wheel with her right paw. The first 3 tries produced nothing. The 4th made a spark that went immediately out. On the 5th, the wick caught, and a warm orange flame appeared behind the glass.
Good.
She carried it down, slowly, carefully, the hot lamp swaying with every step. Then she went back to the watchroom window and waited. 20 minutes passed. The storm was rising in earnest now, the spray beginning to reach the lower windows, the beam of the lighthouse whipping back and forth in the gusts. The fishing boat was still out there, barely visible, shipping water over its bow. Then, out in the bay, she saw the lights of the rescue boat, 2 white lanterns on its mast, moving fast across the water toward the fishing boat.
There you are.
She watched until she saw the rescue boat reach the fishing vessel and come alongside it. She watched until both sets of lights were moving together, slowly and steadily, toward the protected harbor on the south side of the point. She watched until they were gone behind the headland. Then she went and extinguished the signal lamp carefully, replaced it on its shelf, jumped down from the workbench, and returned to her windowsill. In the morning, old Ericsson came downstairs and found her there as always, and did not know that anything unusual had happened, except that the signal lamp was slightly warm to the touch when he went to inspect the equipment.
That is odd. Did I leave this on?
He looked at Sable.
I suppose it was nothing.
Sable looked back at him, said nothing, and went back to watching the sea. Later that morning, the young fisherman came to the lighthouse to return the signal lamp that the watch station had used, and to thank whoever had sent the signal. He was a large, sunburned young man, and he stood at the door looking somewhat bewildered.
I owe someone here my life. The storm came up faster than I have ever seen. Without that signal, I would not have made it.
But I did not send it. I was asleep.
They both looked at Sable, who was sitting on the windowsill with her back to them, watching the sea.
The cat?
She has always kept watch. I only tend the light. She tends everything else.
And now the storm has passed, and the sea is calm and grey in the early morning light, and Sable is still on her windowsill, her eyes half closed, her white ear turned to the wind. The lighthouse beam turns and turns overhead, steady as a heartbeat. The waves against the point are gentle now, just a low, even sound, like breathing. Good night, Sable. Good night, old Ericsson. Good night, young fisherman, safe in your harbor. And good night to you. Let the sound of the sea carry you quietly off to sleep.